Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors, Tim and Julie Harris. This is the #1 daily radio show for realtors looking for a no BS, authentic, real-time coaching experience. What's really working in today's market, how to generate more leads, make more money, and have more time for what you love in your life. And now your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
We are back and we're picking up where we left off yesterday, and we're talking about obviously YouTube videos, and really ultimately we're talking about using YouTube for the sake of lead generation. Now, before we get to our next point, we want to let all of you know that we know some of you are freaking out, and we know some of you are having fantastic months and you're going to have fantastic years, but there is a good portion of all the agents out there listening that are freaking out, and you're not freaking out from your own experiences necessarily. You're freaking out because you're listening to other people that are freaking out. And you're going to create an environment for yourself that's going to be basically a downward spiral. So I'm going to strongly suggest all of you to start pruning immediately who you're listening to, because the reality of it is even though the economy is definitely slipping into recession, even though all these things that sound very scary are happening, you're going to be just fine. And I'm going to tell you why. Well, first of all, I'm not insensitive to the fact that many of you have never, as adults, lived through anything like this before.
It's true.
Right? I mean, Julie and I were listening to a great podcast this morning. These guys were both in their mid-30s, and they're successful entrepreneurs and the rest of it. And they were talking about the fact that for the first time ever, like, they were bemoaning the fact that they had to, downgrade their grocery shopping from Whole Foods to Trader Joe's. And that was their idea of having to make a sacrifice, which I thought was actually really, really funny.
But they were like in their early 30s, right? I mean, they've been around a while. They were running businesses. They're grown humans.
Well, but they didn't realize that's not really what hardship is. Is
right.
my point.
Yes, it's
right?
all relative, isn't it?
So what we're going to be experiencing in the economy, what some of you are already experiencing, what you need to realize is that you can choose to participate in I would call it the pain and suffering. Let's just use real plain, non-fluff-free words. Or you can look at this as an opportunity for you to really take your personal life and your business life to the next level. Because the greatest opportunities are always made during the greatest times of change. And I know this is confusing for a lot of you because you're having to deal with something you've never dealt with before. And I've never met anybody that likes change. But I'm going to give you a little secret. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have to adapt. How long you take to adapt is completely up to you. My strongest of suggestions to all of you is do not take any longer, because the longer you take, the more you're going to experience essentially hardships, not just on you personally, but on everyone you love, because financially, health-wise, all these other things are going to start being adversely affected because of the fact that you're waiting too long to make a change. The change is here. You just have to make the turn. And there's no two ways about it. And I'm saying this from someone I'm 52. Julie's, a little bit. She's not 52. She's a little younger than me. We've been around a while, and we've been in the real estate industry since we were in our early 20s. We bought our first house when we were 22 and 23. So we have been around the block. We've been through 4 recessions. We've been through a housing crash that really was a housing depression. We are absolutely aware of what needs to be happening in your real estate businesses, your real estate brokerages, and your real estate teams. We know what it's going to take for you to make this market something that will be really, I think, it'll be pivotal for the rest of your life. Because if you right now get your head screwed on straight and you really drill down and you're really, frankly, willing to set aside your angst and your fear, you're going to find that there's more people now that want to do a deal with you than there ever has been before. And as long as, and this is kind of a competitive advantage, if your competitors, and real estate, there's only one agent that takes a listing, so there are genuine competitors. If your competitors have stalled out, not knowing what to do because they're, essentially bathing in fear, and you're not, you're going to take more business. You're going to be able to help more people. We're not wishing harm to anybody. We want everyone to succeed. There's enough, there's enough market availability, enough opportunity so everyone can succeed. There doesn't have to be such distinct winners and losers, but there obviously always will be, because some people are willing to take actions that other people aren't. And the number one action you have to realize right now to protect yourself is to accept the fact that the world has changed. It's not going to change back. The smartest way to think of this change is something that's going to be long-term. By long-term, at least a year, as long as 10 years. That's how long this inflationary cycle could be lasting. Now, what does that actually mean? Oil prices and everything else continue to increase at double-digit rates? No. What will happen is the inflation rate is going to level off, but there's going to be a lot of, frankly, a lot of layoffs. There's going to be a lot of other things that are going to happen. Everything and everybody is affected by this. There's no one's going to get out of this without some bumps and some scrapes. But this does not have to be the thing that basically makes it so you have to go back down to ground zero. In other words, you do not have to lose what you have. You can actually build on this and go to the next level. And Julie, you just got off how many coaching calls?
I think 5 in a row.
Well, so before we get to our next point, and again, we're going to do a podcast about this.
Yes.
But share with them what your because you're a coach. I don't think you're coaching anybody that's not a top producer right now.
I have 2 up and coming, not really newbies, but on the ascension, and everybody else is top producer going even higher.
And there's hundreds of you that have joined our Premier Coaching Program this month, and hundreds of you that are going to be getting some real clear, distinct direction on what you should be doing in your real estate businesses. And all of our coaches that are Premier Coaching coaches, all of them have been around, and frankly, some of them have been in the business longer than Julie and I have.
Yep.
But they've been through all different cycles and all different price ranges and all different market conditions. So if you're looking for a place to be that's going to give you that sense of direction, telling you exactly what needs to happen now, maybe this sounds a little bit too prideful, but the fact is we know what we're doing. And I'd really appreciate the fact that so many of you have entrusted us with your continued success in your real estate businesses. So Julie, from your coaching calls, any things that really stands out?
Well, our experienced agents who have been through at least one cycle, some of them 2 or 3 cycles, where they have seen higher inventory levels. They've seen a little bit longer days on the market, in some cases a lot longer days on the market, having to do things like actually have a longer term relationship with sellers. They've managed all of these things. They are really excited, and one of the things that they're talking about is that they are attracting like flies to honey these agents that are freaking out, and they're already being leaders, and I'm really super proud of them. They're talking about different ways that they can integrate them into their businesses, help them out, handle business, do referral fees, all of these types of things. So one of the things that I see is sort of a compression of talent already out there. So our more experienced agents, they're absolutely excited. They have lots of coming soons happening, which is exciting.
So we're going to do a podcast about where, and again, this is a concept, we're still working on it, but we're going to shed light on how winners think, or how people should be maybe adapting their thinking in a market like this, and what the outcome will be. So we're going to give you a list of things. Julie and I love our lists. Yep. We're going to give you a list of the actions that you should be taking now, and then we're going to explain to you what happens as a result, not just immediately, but downrange, like a year, 2 years, 5 years, because we've done this before. And then we're going to give you the flip side if you don't take the action. We're going to explain to you from both perspectives. Last time the market crashed, our coaching business went through the roof.
Yep.
It took off because there were so many agents that were ill-equipped for the market shift. But I have to say, there has been a 15-year bull run in housing in essence. That's really what's going on. For sure. And we always have to remind ourselves, there's probably nobody listening to the podcast, virtually, maybe like 5 people, that have any amount of
perspective.
Right. Their careers go back maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
And that includes with brokers and team leaders and managers and all the rest of it. So they've never been through a market adjustment like this. They don't understand the ramifications or the effects that a market adjustment like this will have, not just on their pocketbooks, but on their personal lives. The pocketbook aspect, guys, frankly, when I'm saying what I'm saying right now, it's the least of it's the thing I'm thinking about for all of you as being the least important, truthfully. What I'm thinking about is your health. What I'm thinking about is your mental health, your relationships, your marriages, your how you react, how you internalize these changes. That's going to be what really matters. Because frankly, you can earn more money, right? There's always going to be people to help as long as you have the skill set that people are willing to pay for. There always are going to be people in the marketplace that want to do businesses with you. But we saw before, and we don't want to see again, the human tragedy that comes from a big pivot like this. So we're going to be, as we always are in this podcast, probably overly direct, mostly Julie. But and we're going to be giving you guys the absolute drilled down, take action now information, and we're going to give you that podcast. We're not going to hold anything back. We're in a position which allows us to not necessarily overly worry about the who maybe is being offended by what we're saying, because we have experienced hundreds of thousands of coaching calls personally, and all these different market gyrations over the our past 30-year career, that we know we have a high. How do I say this? We don't know for sure. Obviously, nobody does because we've never experienced anything like this before. But we do have a lot of previous experience that it gives us really good clues as to what we should be doing personally, professionally, and also what you guys should be doing as well.
Especially for our coaching clients. We do care about you guys.
So stop freaking out. That's really what I want you to drill down on. Do not freak out. You are going to do great. Your buyers and your sellers, the mix of them might change. Why they're buying and selling might change.
For sure.
But no matter what, folks, please listen to what your coaches are telling you. No matter what is happening in the economy with interest rates, with jobs, with fuel prices, with all that stuff, there will always be people that want to transact. You just have to make it so that you're the one that they're transacting with. People will become a billion X more selective, choosy who they do business with. The skill sets that are going to be required, not just to how to do a transaction, but frankly, the psychology of dealing with people's emotions, your customers' emotions, your emotions, other agents' emotions, mortgage company, all these people around you, they're all going to be dealing with these, this sort of vexing vortex of change. You have to be the leader, the glue that holds the deal together. That's what coaching is all about. And listen, I know some of you are thinking, Tim, I'd love to join your coaching program, but I just not feeling confident right now. Well, that's the reason that we've given you Premier Coaching for free. You can join Premier Coaching 100%, no strings attached, for free. Every single one of you need to be doing this. Text the word Premier to 47372. Text the word Premier to 47372. If you don't want to text, or if you're outside of the continental United States, that's fine too. Just go to members.timandjulieharris.com. Members.timandjulieharris.com. You will get scripts, objection handlers. You're going to get presentations, lead generation ideas, 90-day massive action plan, the survival plan, the real estate treasure map. Then you're also going to get, obviously every single, well, I shouldn't say obvious. You're going to get every single work day a coaching session with a Harris certified coach. You're going to get members access to our members only community. You're going to be amongst people who are of like mind, that they're going to thrive because of this market. That's what this is about. So remember, guys, you are in a people helping business. And there's never been a time where so many people have been frankly, have needed the help of a caring, competent, skilled real estate agent. I realize some of you are saying, because you're freaking out, I need someone that's going to help me. Well, here's a little clue. We're going to do it by giving you Premier for free, but then you are going to feel more confident yourself when you're helping other people. So if you want to feel more confident, if you want to feel, frankly, less freaky outy, is that a word?
It is. Well, but more enthusiastic and more excited.
The best way for you to do it is help other people. And I know that seems kind of counterintuitive, but it's true. So text the word Premier, Premier, to 47372. Text the word Premier to 47372, or just go to members.timandjulieharris.com. Members.timandjulieharris.com. All right. So again, stop freaking out. Stay calm. You guys are going to kick some serious ass in this market because of this market. Frankly, a market like this does crown new leaders, because those are the folks that, frankly, new agents. This is one of the best markets ever for a new agent, because all the agents that have fixed costs and, frankly, fixed mindsets, they're not going to make the pivot. Whereas you're not going to have all those mooring lines, and you're going to be able to go right to the head of the line. So take action now. Become a Premier Coaching client. Text the word Premier to 47372, or just go to members.timandjulieharris.com.
So again, thank you for joining us today. It is Tim and Julie Harris. Our podcast is Real Estate Coaching Radio. So please like, subscribe, and add comments and questions, especially if you're listening on YouTube. We will respond to your comments and questions. And today we're talking about realtors' top lead generation videos for your social media. A lot of you guys are not making those types of videos because you don't know what to talk about. So we're talking about, for realtors, top lead generating videos for all of your social media, as promised. Now, yesterday, we gave you an extensive list. We got through at least part of the list, and our coaching members get the full list. But we promised to drill down on one specific category today. And that is, and for my note takers, this is where you want to start typing or taking notes. The specific social media category today is informative or educational short videos made for you for buyers and sellers in your market. So again, informative or educational short videos, we're talking about maybe 10 to 15 minutes, made by you for buyers and sellers in your market who may be searching for answers. We talked a lot about that yesterday. So first note, all of these videos can live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and your own website. You can also use these videos once you've made them. They don't go away. You can use them to follow up with your leads. You can use them for lots of different places. Now, beware, none of these videos should replace an actual phone call or face-to-face appointment. These are in addition to, not instead of, doing what we call lovingly the real work of real estate, proactive lead generation. We're right here.
Right. I have to say, actually, as I'm thinking about, as we're going through these points, frankly, when it came to centers of influence and past clients, when we sold real estate, I didn't like calling them. You did, right? I didn't like doing it.
It's not for everybody.
I would rather have called 5 FSBOs than I would call one center of influence and past client person. A lot of people are like that. Now, I realize that we're defective and we're blockheads, but the reality, because that is where the greatest source of business ultimately comes from.
Yep.
But if you're one of those, and again, goes back to really our approach to coaching. If you're somebody that will, like me, like when we sold real estate, I would rather have called 10 strangers and, done battle there and had them, list their houses with us than I would have had, 10 really simple, nice phone calls. Fortunately, Julie liked those calls better than I did. But the moral of the story is if you're somebody that won't make the centers of influence and past clients calls, that's fine, frankly. If you're willing to lead generate doing other things, at the end of the day, it's perfectly fine. And if you're saying, Tim, I'm like you, I won't do the center of influence calls, then yes, go ahead and make some videos and send them to them, but stay top of mind, provided that you are not dropping the ball on making those contacts. But do remember and do know that the call, the contact, the direct face-to-face, belly-to-belly, hand-to-hand is always going to be more effective than anything passive and digital.
That's right. So we're talking about video content, and we're talking about what your potential buyers and sellers are thinking about, what they might be searching about. So one video you can do, number one, how to buy and sell at the same time without making yourself homeless. We have coaching clients doing this. They have lots of action around this. What are the strategies that you counsel your sellers on so they can have a smooth transition? In a short video, you can discuss the different options like buy first, sell second, build first, sell second, sell first, negotiate a lease back for the buyer, sell first, rent for a while and decide what to buy later, buy first, keep the previous home as a rental or vacation rental by owner. So most sellers don't think like that.
So these are all video ideas. And by the way, if you don't know how to actually come up with the content on these video ideas, we've already laid these all out for you in Premier Coaching, step by step as to what the seller should be doing. So these, again, are video ideas on this podcast, but when you join Premier Coaching, then you're going to be able to say, well, if they want to, buy first and sell second, here's the 5 things you want to have as your points when you're presenting on your videos. This is, again, very powerful information. And then what you're going to want to do, and we're going to get into this in a second, is then drill down and make it so when anybody's searching to purchase a home or sell a home in your particular market, they're going to come up with that video, because these are the pertinent questions that every single consumer is always going to have. And if you're the one answering those questions and they haven't selected an agent yet, there is a chance that that's going to reinforce the likelihood of them contacting you. And then, provided you know how to pre-qualify and you know how to present, you'll get that listing.
That's right. So point number 2, or content piece number 2, somebody might be searching, for example, how to correctly price my home in Columbia, Missouri, for example. Make sure you put your name of your market so it's specific enough. How to correctly price my home. Discuss how you select comparables, including solds, pendings, and active competition. This is also kind of a play into why you wouldn't want to be a for sale by owner, because professional agents are very detailed about their pricing versus guessing at pricing.
And remember, if you're you listened to yesterday's podcast, chances are, and then you will know that you are always supposed to offer a CTA. You can do the CTA in the video itself, a call to action, but also in the description. Always be offering to be of service to other people. Nobody's offended by that. Would you like me to do essentially a competitive market analysis for what your home is worth in this market? No problem. Or do you know of someone who's thinking about buying or selling that I should be helping in this market? Always let people know that you're here to be of service. Don't assume that they're going to ask you to help them. You have to offer to help them. That's the way it always works. Don't be a secret agent, especially when you're doing videos like this. Look, we know that we have to ask you guys on bended knee to like, subscribe, and add comments to the videos, especially on YouTube. We know we have to ask you guys to take the time and give us 5-star reviews on iTunes. And when we ask, you do it, and we sincerely appreciate it. Same thing goes when you're creating content, when you're creating videos especially. You have to direct the folks what you want them to do and give them very clear, specific information. Don't just assume someone's going to subscribe to your video channel unless you ask them to. And by the way, yes, I'm asking you to please subscribe.
That's right. Leading by example. All right. Content piece number 3. This has become a hot topic lately. What is the difference? This is a video you can make. What is the difference between being pre-qualified, pre-approved, and loan committed? What's the process to apply for a mortgage? Now, you can discuss the application checklist as well as what each stage means. You can talk about why it's important to get loan commitment before you try and negotiate. You might interview a loan officer of your choice. You can, blow this up as big or as small as you want to.
And we have done podcasts on this. And yes, indeed, there is all kinds of information on Premier Coaching, which will provide you give you notes essentially. Matter of fact, the specific thing that all Premier Coaching members need to be looking for is called the Ultimate Addendum. And we did go back, I think it was maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and we gave you a list of tough questions to ask your loan officer. Use those questions after you listen to the podcast to then go and obviously have the notes for your own video or for whatever piece of media you're creating. Now, these little videos, the larger YouTube videos that you make, there are, frankly, very simple ways that you can make those into little video snips, and then you can use those on Instagram. You can use those on Twitter if you choose to. For example, on Instagram started out as a photo sharing thing, but for sure, Instagram is moving towards putting more preference on people that are sharing videos. It's no comparison. When you put up a post versus putting up a video, it's clear that with the direction that Instagram's trying to go is sort of similar to what YouTube's doing. So give Instagram what it wants, and then it will reinforce the messaging you're putting out there. Keep your messages tight. Keep it focused on this very valuable content, because what we're doing is we're trying to gear your content towards people who are actually in the market to buy or sell real estate. These are not hypothetical sort of just forming relationships. These are for the people that are saying, you know what, how do I know if I'm pre-approved? How do I go ahead and remove a home sale contingency? Will a seller in this marketplace take a home sale contingency? You start giving them the real drill down. Now, I know this is different type of content than when maybe some of you are creating over the last 15 years. Correct. This is different type of content because the market has changed. Remember, we were just talking about this? We were talking about the fact that markets change. Consumer expectations are going to change. They're going to be looking for more pertinent information because it's going to be more complex. They're not just going to put their houses for sale and have people beating a path to their door with competing offers. Buyers, everything's more complex. So you need to be the provider of this higher level information. That in itself differentiates you in the marketplace. You guys get it? So again, make the pivot. Don't delay.
So content piece number 4, you can make a video where you're discussing the difference between a fixed rate loan and an adjustable rate loan and give some examples. Lots of lenders are pumping that out there, and I'm also updating with Premier.
Point number 5.
Point number 5 is film a video about how the market is shifting, not crashing. We've given you lots of information on podcasts, plus next week is coming up with even more.
Well, we did the specific one, and you guys should research this too if you're on YouTube or obviously on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere else. It's called 15 Reasons Why There Won't Be a Housing Crash. It's becoming a very popular podcast. YouTube is catching up as well. So go and get those points and just essentially, iterate on what we have already researched and then make your own content around it. Make your own media around it. You will attract. So here's the thing. You guys are, a lot of you who've only been in the business, for a handful of years, you have been constantly beaten over the head on how important it is for you to build a brand. And brand is this undefinable thing, right? Well, here's what the brand, if you want to look at it this way, that you need to have. It's called reputation. The reputation we want you to have, and that word is often conflated with the word brand, is that as an expert. The way you actually earn the right to be seen as an expert is you become an expert. You don't fake being an expert just because you've created some brand of you leaning against a Lamborghini. This is about you actually learning to be a true real estate professional. And then you will find, especially in a market like this, lots and lots of people will gravitate towards you because that's going to be the very thing that differentiated you in the marketplace because you are clearly essentially more skilled than the next guy or gal.
That's right. And we have just 3 more points. Number 6, film a video about the actual closing process. Now, you can split this into mini videos because we're talking about inspections, appraisal, financing, emphasizing that this is one of the most important things that a caring and competent agent does for their clients. It's not all about price, after all. What does an agent actually do? You can do little snippets about that. Point number 7, film a video about staging and give examples of before and after and how this affects showing activity and selling price. You can call it staging in Columbus, Ohio. Okay. Why? Because the best sellers, the ones who are really very motivated, will call a stager before they'll call a listing agent to prepare the house. And that stager is going to be a good source for you, and you're going to be talking to that as if you're a stager.
A little window into all your futures. Towards I would say the next 6 to 12 months, you're going to start having opportunities like you've never had before to become listing agents.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to start seeing expired. You're going to start seeing, in some markets, not very many, but you're going to start seeing some notice of defaults. You're going to start seeing some FSBOs that aren't able to sell. There's a lot of the overpriced inventory that's on the market right now. Julie and I subscribe to Realtor.com. They send us listings in all of our areas that we have rental properties, which is a bunch of different states. And we saw for the longest periods of time, you would, especially in Austin, you get these notices of price increases.
I know, and a lot of them too.
Yeah, from builders mostly.
Yep.
Well, price increases. Now we're getting the exact opposite. You're seeing new listing notices that we're getting on all these I think we're in 7 different states for our rental properties. And now we're starting to see price reductions.
Yep.
Now, why is that happening? Obviously, the market is cooling. There's fewer buyers, all the rest of it. But how many agents out there have the skill set to A, get the seller to reduce their price, and B, to deal with the seller's emotions of having to lower the price? And by the way, never say lower the price to a seller. Always say reposition the house in the market so we correctly reflect the market's expectations. Again, these little phrases are what's going to differentiate you in the marketplace. You're going to then be able to like you tell a seller to lower the price, I promise you instantly they hate you. They might not say they hate you, but they hate you. But if you say, let's reposition the house in the market so we correctly reflect the market's expectations, they're like, oh, well, that sounds good.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. Well, of course we want to do that.
Yes. So point number 8, and this is especially for our friends at EXP, you can make a video about your express offer system so that they can receive an offer immediately, again, assuming that you're with EXP and you've done that training, which doesn't take very long to do.
And express offers, basically, for those of you who don't know, you can actually, as an EXP agent, you can sell a house to like an EXP's own iBuyer, which is called express offers, and then you will after they will pay you a commission on the house that you sell to them, and then they will pay you you get that listing again. You obviously make a commission after they fix the house up. That does not have to be a house that you sell to the Express Offers portal. Does not have to be your own listing. You can go out in the marketplace. You can find a real kick-ass house that's for sale that's, maybe under market or a really motivated seller, and you can take that to Express Offers. They're going to buy it. You're going to get paid, your listing or not. When the house is fixed up and they put that house back for sale, you're going to get that listing again. Seems to me like that's a really good move for a lot of you. And now, if some of you are learning from our coaching program to start working with I always forget the word.
What?
I have
Express offer?
No. The court probate.
Probate.
I don't know why.
I was trying to read your mind.
I've been doing this for 3 decades.
You have a brain worm about that word.
Probate.
Probate. Yes.
Yeah. So for probate listings, for example, probate, and if you have now the ability, you're trying to pursue your probate lead generation spoke. We teach you how to do this in Premier Coaching, and then you contact probate attorneys or families, and you say, well, we have 2 options. We can retail the house. Now the house needs a lot of work, and the house needs this or the other thing. But we can try to retail it for this price. And if we don't get an offer after, say, 2 weeks or 10 showings or whatever, then we'll take the house to Express Offers, or we'll take the house to Express Offers now. We'll get an offer on it. And then you can decide after maybe a month, if we haven't gotten a good retail offer on it, you can look at the net from both opportunities and you can decide which path you want to go. You guys get it? It's about having more tools in your toolbox to solve more people's problems. And yes, of course, Julie and I are associated with EXP Realty. If you'd like to be sponsored by Julie and I, we would love the opportunity and be frankly honored to be your sponsors of EXP Realty. You can text me directly at 512-758-0206. That is my real cell phone. Do not call, do text. Just text the word EXP and I'll know what it's all about. Or you can just send me a message, obviously, at 512-758-0206. So I'm going to conclude today's podcast simply by saying you guys are all going to be fine. Stay away from the news. Start embracing the lifestyle that, frankly, all of our top producing agents do of being media free. Take a breath and then realize that you are going to absolutely kick ass in this market because of this market, because you are going to make the pivot. You are going to, have your head screwed on straight. You're going to realize that your highest, truest, and purpose on this planet is be of service to other people, to help other people, and you're excited about the opportunity to help other people solve their real estate challenges, which there are going to be many, and that is honestly, guys, you're going to feel so much more fulfilled, so much happier because you're helping people in the truest, highest sense. People are going to be so much, real estate is the very definition of a thankless job normally. Well, this is the type of market where you start getting thanks, frankly.
Well, this is really true. And I was always astonished by the fact that some of our best referring past clients were in two categories. Yes, past clients, center of influence in general, but for sale by owners.
Yep.
Because they had tried it on their own and failed. Okay. They actually knew that there was something to a real estate transaction. Short sale sellers or somebody that actually had to sell. They were under some kind of stress and you solved their problem. And expireds who, for whatever reason, chose the wrong agent, chose the wrong situation, and were frustrated, and we solved their problem. So those people are very, very long-term loyal. We're still friends with a lot of them, actually.
We are. It's amazing. Honestly.
It is amazing. And so I think that...
It's not amazing that we're friends with them. It's amazing how sticky those types of clients have been.
Appreciative.
Because we sold them houses or helped them sell something. And I know you and I are sharing a brain. I know who you're thinking of, the people you're thinking of. And yeah, you're right. To this day, even though we haven't lived in Central Ohio for a long time. And when we sold real estate there, and we did as Julie just said, because our business was primarily focused on being a listing agent, our first year in the real estate business in our early 20s, we sold over 100 houses. And all those 100 houses, those were individual sellers. Yep. Those and the sellers that happened every year after that, a lot of them did become friends. Now, we send them Christmas cards, and we maybe will stay connected with them on social. But they send us referrals, even though they know we're not transacting in Central Ohio. And then they're sending us referrals for the sake of us then referring them to one of you guys.
Yeah.
Julie and I will then refer oftentimes without charging any referral fee. Someone has a house to sell, we're going to send it to one of our Premier Coaching members. We don't get in the middle of transactions. The only time Julie and I will ask for a referral fee personally is when it's one of our personal neighbors or something like that. Other than that, between, we're describing it now, no referral fee. And our company sends out dozens of those a month.
Well, and all of our, our coaching members share referrals with each other all the time on Facebook, on their private Facebook page.
The truth is that one of the greatest values that we don't express enough, because it's hard to explain it to people unless they actually are members of being part of our organization and being in Premier Coaching, is being in our organization, is around being around the other people. You can frankly,
the community.
You can pay for Premier Coaching just from the referrals that you're going to get easily for your, all the opportunities, all the ideas, all the inspiration. Being in a room with other people who are breathing the same air, thinking the same way, is inspiring, and it allows you to unplug from what's the fear and loathing that frankly is going to be everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's going to be so intense this year because of it's an election year, guys, that it's going to be very difficult for many people, even with the strongest of mindsets, to shield themselves from sort of all the negativity. So you're going to have to be really focused on protecting your mindset. And the best way to do that is be around other people who are choosing also to make this their best market because of the market, right? They know that their highest and truest purpose is to be of service to other people. They're excited about helping other people. That's what this market's all about. And remember, guys, we are doing our best to make it so that all of you will embrace this opportunity in this market by giving you Premier Coaching for 30 days for free. All you have to do is text the word Premier to 47372. Text the word Premier to 47372. If you don't want to text, that's fine. Or if you're outside of the continental United States, just go to members.timandjulieharris.com. Members.timandjulieharris.com. And when you do, you will be able to sign up for Premier Coaching, no strings attached. And you're going to immediately get access to all the content we told you about. And you're also going to be entitled to a daily coaching session. Do not delay on getting that done. What's the topic tomorrow?
The topic tomorrow is, assuming that they do what we've been talking about all week and get their butts in gear making this great video content, is how to actually optimize that on YouTube so they actually get results. It's not enough to just cut the video and throw it up there. We're going to go through 12, and they're very clear, very concise, 12 specific things to make sure you're getting results from YouTube, because if you're doing it right on YouTube, of course, Instagram and Facebook, it's going to populate to that as well. But you're going to lead with YouTube because Google gets their results from YouTube, and it's going to be very powerful for you. And next week, we've been alluding to what our plan is for next week. We're going to talk about what you should keep doing, what you should stop doing, what you should stop thinking, what you should stop saying, so that we get you on the right path for this new market. Because I think over the past, for sure last week, but 2 weeks, it is very clear that you are now already in a different market.
I have an inspiring title for you when you're
What's
coming
that?
up with these notes. A new you for a new market.
I like it.
There
That's
you
perfect.
Go. That's what it's going to be called.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, exactly. You guys have a fantastic day. Remember, like, subscribe, add comments. Please participate in helping us build this real estate community. There never has been a better time for you to, frankly, become a Premier Coaching client. Do not delay on doing that. Text the word Premier to 47372. Remember, message and data rates may apply. You guys have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.